So welcome everyone. In this video, let's look into our day 2 of the foundation course. This day 2 course is divided into 8 different sections. In that, we'll be looking in section 4, which is your kitchen cabinet parameters. See, in your previous section, we already talked about what parameter is and where you can navigate it, right? In addition to that, we also talked about one specific category of parameter, which is your basic parameter. Okay? In this section, we'll be talking about your other category of parameter, which is your advanced or customization parameters. Okay? And for today's demonstration, I'll be explaining the parameters using a single door cabinet here, but the parameter here applies similar for your other cabinets. So if you would like to change the parameter of the cabinet, select the cabinet on the right hand side. It will show you its respective parameters. We already talked about your basic parameters, right? So now let's just focus on your advanced or customization parameter. So once you click this will open up some list of parameters, right? In that, the first parameter here is your handle type. Handle type is nothing but if you take any cabinet fresh from our catalog, in default that will be an external handle cabinet. What if we want to change it to Gola profile? That is exactly what the first parameter here is. So if you would like to change a cabinet from an external handle to Gola profile, right now can you see you have a regular handle under handle type, right? Click it, it will open up a drop down. There you will see a Gola profile option. Select it. Just in seconds, the external handle cabinet will become a Gola profile. This is what your first parameter here is. And your second parameter, door or drawer opening, is nothing but using this you will be able to open up the shutter of any cabinet. Okay. So since this is a single door cabinet, if I want to open up the shutter and look at the interior, just click it. And right now it is closed, right? Click on open. The shutter will open so that I can precisely see the internals of this cabinet. This not only applies for your single door cabinet, this applies for any of your cabinet. Yes, any of your cabinet, regardless of the nature, you should be able to specifically open up the shutter to have the glance at the internals. For example, if I select this drawer cabinet, can you see I have that parameter name drawer and drawer opening, right? Click it and make it as open. I can precisely have a glance at the drawers. And in addition to that, this will also be greatly helpful to showcase your pullouts to your clients too. Can you see here? So any cabinet you will be able to precisely open up the shutter and you can showcase the internal. And in addition to all this parameter will specifically be helpful for showcasing the accessory placed blind corner. Yes, so this one here is an accessory based blind corner, right? So I can precisely show the magic corner or the blind corner actually which has been used in this cabinet. So I can just select it. In the parameter, can you see door and drawer opening? I can click it and make it as open. And now this will precisely show how that blind corner accessory will be. Right? So this way you will be able to open up the shutter for any cabinet and I can showcase the internals for your client. Not only for your base cabinet, this even applies for your wall cabinet too. So this is what the second parameter, which is door and drawer opening here is. The third parameter here is your door direction. This parameter here is something that is specific for a single door cabinet. Okay, you will understand the reason behind it. So right now, if you notice this door, if I open it up, the swing is towards the left direction, correct? What if I want to change the swing direction? What if I want to open this shutter on the right hand side? That is what this parameter here is. So just click it. In default, it is left. I can make it as right. Can you see? Just in seconds, you will be able to precisely decide it. Okay. And now you will understand why it is only seen in your single door cabinet. Because for your double door, eventually shutter will open on both the sides. But for your any single door cabinet, you will see this parameter using which you will be able to decide in the door direction precisely based on your design. And the fourth parameter here is your base and amount lighting, which is nothing but your skirting light. Yes, in your conventional tool, if you want to add a lighting, if you want to add a strip lighting to your skirting, you will generally do it in your rendering window, right? Where you might take a rectangle lighting, place it underneath the cabinet for the skirting light, and you have to do it for the interior cabinet and for adjusting all those factors, I think, and then you will be getting it on the renders, right? But here the process is extremely simple. Just using the parameter itself, you will be able to add a skirting light. Okay, so right now, for any base cabinet you will take, you will see a parameter named base and amount lighting. In default, it will be off. Off means it won't have a skirting lighting. Can you see? There isn't any skirting lighting here. But if you want, you can just click it and make it as yes. So now can you see? A thin strip lighting is added underneath your base panel, right? It will be precisely added near your skirting. So that is why it is called as base and mount lighting, which is nothing but your skirting lighting. So you should be able to add this just using a single toggle. Okay. And now you might be wondering, what about for the wall cabinet? What if I want a strip lighting on the bottom panel of the wall cabinet? Yes, that is also that. Okay. So in your base cabinet or in your tall cabinet, we call it as base and mount lighting, right? But when it comes to wall cabinet, it's called wall and mount lighting. I'll show you. So here I have a single door wall cabinet, right? If I just select it, you will see a parameter here named wall and mount lighting, right? Right now it is no light, which means there won't be any strip lighting which will be placed on the bottom panel. But if you want, using the toggle, you can just click it, and here you have three options. So if you select the front option, where the strip lighting will be added near your front in proximity to your shutter. Can you see here? If you want this to be added at the center of the step, can you see? You can select the center. If you want to add near your backsplash region, click on the back. So for your wall cabinets alone, you can precisely decide in the position of your strip lighting. If you don't want the lighting, just click it and make it as no light. Okay. For your base cabinet, you can't decide in the position because technically it's a skirting lighting. It needs to be placed just before your skirting, right? The tool will automatically recognize it and it will place it. Okay. So this is what when it comes to your base and the mount and wall and the mount lighting parameters. And the fifth parameter here is your leg height. This talks about the height of the leg. Okay, this parameter is also seen only in your floor supported cabinets, which means in all your base cabinets and your tall cabinet, you will see this option because those are all the cabinets comes with the leg, so you can control the height of the leg. So right now it is 100. In your case, if you want to make it as 150 mm, if you want to make it as 200 mm, based on which the model will precisely adapt. Can you see here? So this is what your fifth customization parameter here is. And the last customization parameter here is your body grain direction. Okay. This talks about the grain direction of the carcass. Always remember in this tool, the term body represents carcass. Okay. So this talks about the grain direction of the carcass. Okay. I'll just give you one example. So here, let me use my material brush to copy the finish of the shutter and apply this for the carcass. Okay. In your day one of the foundation course, we already talked about your material brush. I hope you know the shortcut, right? Shortcut is M. So press M in your keyboard where you can copy the finish from one component and apply this for another component, right? The same applies for your cabinet too. So that way I'm just applying the shutter finish for the carcass here. Can you see your carcass finish is applied? Okay. And now you will notice the carcass finish here, it has a grain direction, correct? So right now it follows a vertical grain direction. What if you want to rotate this grain direction for the carcass? That is what that parameter here is. Okay, body grain direction right now it is 0. Instead of vertical, if you want to make it as horizontal, here just type it as 90 or select it. Can you see? Just in seconds, the body grain direction has changed from vertical to horizontal, right? This happens for all the panel of this carcass. Okay, so this is what when it comes to your body grain direction is, using which you will be able to rotate the textures. Okay, this will only be evident if you are going for some kind of a grain based texture for your carcass or a pattern based texture. If it is like a solid color finish like this, you precisely won't see any difference or change that. But that is what your last customization parameter is. That's it, your parameter is done. It is simple, right? So these are all called as designer parameters or customization parameters, which means these are all the parameters which the designer will use on a day-to-day basis. But what if you're a technical person? Let's just say that you're a cutlass person or you're a person who's interested on the technical aspect of the cabinet, or you're from the production side. In that case, for you want some more customization, adjusting or focusing on the technical aspect, right? In those cases, can you see at the bottom of this parameter, there is something called advanced option. In default, it will be hidden for all the cabinet. But if you want, you can just click it and you can make it as show. And once you made it as show, this will show you all the technical parameters using which you will be able to completely modify the construction of this cabinet. So in this, the first technical parameter here is your top panel construction. Okay, so which is nothing but if you take any base cabinet, in default it will be a rail top cabinet, right? Rail top means it will have a top putty at the back and near your shutter, correct? What if you want it like one single panel? Okay, we call it as full top. What if you want it like a full top? Just click it and make it as full top. That's it. That is your first technical parameter, your top panel construction, using which you'll be able to make it as rail top or a full top. Okay, this is common for all your base cabinet except your urban sink cabinet, because for these cabinets you eventually need that cavity, because only in that cavity you'll be placing your sink component and all those things, right? So for those you won't have this parameter named top panel construction. Instead you will have a parameter named rail top material. Okay, because right now if you hear for all this you can only go for a wooden rail top, right? But for your sink and hob cabinets alone you have an option to make it as an aluminum rail top. Okay, so that is also feasible, which is not feasible for your other cabinets. Okay, so this is what your top panel construction here is. The second technical parameter here is nothing but your body construction type. This talks about the default construction type which is followed for your cabinets here in NAADI. Okay, so the default construction type here is your side panels of the cabinet will overlap your top and your bottom panel of the cabinet, right? That is the default construction which is followed here. Okay, but what if you want your top panel to overlap your side panel? Some organizations that could be a norm too. In those cases, in your body construction type, right now it is clear, just click it and you will see three options here. In that, the first option is called top onset, right? If you just click it up, where your top panel will become an onset panel, which means your top panel will overlap your side panels. Can you see here? So that is what the top onset is. Let's just say that you want your bottom panel to also overlap your side panel. In that case, no worries. Take your bottom onset too, because here for this body construction type, multi-select option is tapped. So you can even tick on bottom onset. Now can you see? Your bottom panel is overlapping your side panel. That is the reason you can see this line here for your bottom panel, right? Not only that, if you want your back panel to overlap your top and bottom panel, you can toggle on the third option here, which is back panel onset. If you click it, can you see here? Now your back panel is overlapping all your panels, right? So depending on the construction norm which is followed in your organization, you can precisely alter this and you can get it done. This is the second technical parameter, which is your body construction. If you don't want, you can even toggle it off. It will move back to our default construction time. It will move back to our default construction time. The third technical parameter here is your body panel thickness. I told you, right? In default, if you take any panel of a cabinet, it will have a thickness of 18 mm. But if you want, you can change it using this parameter. Right now, can you see it is talking about body panel thickness. Body represents carcass, so it is talking about the panel thickness of the carcass. Right now it is 18 mm. If you want, you can make it as 20 mm. Can you see? If you want, you can make it as 30. If you want, you can make it as 50. Depending on which, can you see, your panel is precisely adjusted. Okay, so this is what your body panel thickness here is, which is your third technical parameter. In addition to that, you have something called shelf reveal, you have something called visible edge band thickness, invisible edge band thickness, shelf edge band thickness, and your back panel construction details too. All this will be addressed in detail in a separate video. Okay, for your section 4, let's just focus on your designer parameters and the three important technical parameters. Other technical parameters will be precisely addressed in a separate video. So this is what it is, and by this explanation itself you would have noticed that all this parameter is something that as a designer you don't focus on a day-to-day basis, right? So that's why we made it as an advanced option, and it will always be there. And the parameter what we are seeing here for the single door cabinet is common for your majority of the cabinet. Only for some 1 or 2 cabinets you might have one parameter higher or one parameter lower, but for majority of the cabinet these are all the parameters. So now let's just focus on those unique cabinets which has that 1 or 2 parameter different. Okay, that the first cabinet here will be your wall cabinet. So if you take any wall cabinet here, can you see the parameters, majority of the parameters are precisely same. You have handle type using which you can make it as regular handle, or if you want you can make it as gola profile too. But since it is a wall cabinet, it will make it like a wall gola. Okay, so that can be done. Or if you want to open up the shutter, you can do that. Since this is a single door cabinet, you can even control the swing directions. You have wall and mount lighting and the body plate direction. Exactly the same parameter. Same scenario for your pull-out cabinets too. Can you see? All the parameters are exactly same. Only thing is that you won't see the door direction. Since there is a pull-out cabinet, there isn't any door direction or swing direction to control it. Same scenario for your sink cabinet too. The only difference is in your advanced option, you won't see top panel construction. Instead, you will see something known as top panel constructions material. So right now it is a rail top, and right now it has an aluminum profile rail top. If you want, you can make it like a conventional wooden rail top too, but you can make it like a full top. Because it is a sink cabinet, you definitely need that cavity for the sink unit to be placed. For your tall appliance cabinet, you might find one parameter which is different. Can you see? Majority of the parameters are same here. Only thing is you will find these two parameters that are unique for this cabinet, which is specific for the nature of this cabinet. First one is the oven height, right? This talks about the height of the oven. In default will be 600 mm, but according to your design, you can precisely control it. The second one here is your base section height. This talks about the height of the base section. Okay. In my case, the base section is 2 drawer, right? This talks about the height of the 2 drawer. Okay. And now you might be wondering, what about the top door height? How can I control the height of the top door? You can't do it directly, but there is a nuance. So based on the overall height and the height of the oven and your base section, the door height will automatically be calculated. So right now the overall height of this cabinet is 1990, correct? And the height of the oven here is 600 mm and the height of the base cabinet is 750. In that case, if I minus this 2 from the overall height, it will give you the door height, which is 640 mm. So that is a simple logic which is followed here. So this applies for any tall appliance cabinet. And another unique cabinet when it comes to parameter is definitely your blind corner. Okay, so if I just select this blind corner, majority of the parameters are same. Only thing is you will find this fourth parameter that is unique for the nature of this blind corner cabinet. Okay, which is simple. So you would have noticed in your blind corner cabinet, you can't control the overall width of the cabinet. Can you see? That is because instead of controlling the overall width of the cabinet, you have the feasibility in the parameter to control the door width, which is this width. You can control the width of the adjacent filler. This is what we call it as adjacent filler, right? You can control its width. That is the second parameter. The third parameter here is width of your perpendicular filler, this one. And the fourth parameter here is your blank dummy space, which is the width of this one. So by controlling the width of the door, width of the adjacent filler and width of the dummy panel, you will be able to precisely control the overall width, right? And don't worry, the width of the dummy panel is nothing but the depth of your perpendicular cabinet. Okay, so the depth of this cabinet is 600. That will eventually be the width of this dummy panel, right? So that is the logic here. A similar kind of a logic applies for your L corner cabinets too. So now can you see, this is the L corner cabinet which I selected, and these are all the parameters. Majority of the parameters are same. Only thing is that these 5 parameters might be unique for this cabinet. Okay. So in this first thing you will notice here is for your L corner cabinet, you won't be able to control the width, you won't be able to control the depth. Can you see? Both are not controllable. Instead, you can control the left side panel depth, which is this depth, which is nothing but the depth of your adjacent left cabinet, and your right side panel depth, which is this depth, which is nothing but the depth of your adjacent right cabinet, and the left door width, which is this door, and the right door width, which is this door, using which the overall width and overall depth will automatically be calculated. Pretty simple logic, right? And here you will see there is also another parameter here named door opening time, right? This is something that is specific for your L corner, okay? Because for your L corner in default, it will have a wide angle door. So if you just open it up, can you see? It is a wide angle door, okay? But if you want, you can make it like a bifold door too. That is that door open time parameter. Can you see? So depending on the nature of your L corner cabinet, you can precisely control it. And now by this point, you would have had this question. Right now we are addressing parameters with regards to one specific cabinet, right? So that way I'll be able to control the parameter of each and every cabinet. In those parameters, some parameter would be common for all the cabinets, right? A best example would be handle type. If you want to change the handle type of a cabinet, we'll be changing it commonly for all the cabinets, or at least some group of cabinets within the kitchen, right? In those cases, Do I need to do it individually for each and every cabinet? If you want, you can do it. Yes, you can individually select each and every cabinet and control its parameter. But that might be a time-taking process, right? Because if you take any simple kitchen, you might easily have anywhere between 15 to 20 cabinets. In that case, you have to individually select each and every cabinet and you have to change its parameter. This will eventually take time. Instead, here you have a wonderful option named Global Edit. On top here, can you see in this sub-horizontal window here, there is a third option named Global Edit, right? This globe kind of an icon. Just place your cursor, it will open up a drop down. There you will see an important option named Global Parameter. This global parameter is nothing but, like I said before, all the majority of the parameter what we address is something that is common for all the cabinets, right? In those case, if you click this global parameter, this will open up a window where all those common parameters will be visible. So if you make any change here, this will precisely be applied for all the kitchen cabinets which are present in this project. Right now, can you see all the handle here are external handle. What if I want to change everything to Gola? In that case, instead of just individually clicking and changing it, so can you see in your global parameter, can you see there is something called handle type, right? If you place your cursor, the tool will automatically highlight and show what are all the cabinets that will experience the change because of this parameter. Okay, so here I can just click on this drop down. Instead of regular, just make it as Gola. That's it. Just a simple toggle change here will eventually be addressed in all your cabinets which are present in your kitchen. So now can you see, just in seconds, all your cabinets have become Gola. Okay, so your base cabinets will have a base Gola and your wall cabinets will have a wall Gola. This is how simple you can change it. Okay, so this is just one example. Handle type is something that we commonly change for all the cabinets, right? And for this double door roller, can you see you have this option? You have handle type here specifically. You can click it and make it as push to open. That is because generally your chimney cabinet doesn't have a bottom panel, right? So you can't precisely place your wall Gola there. So that way you can make it as push to open. So that is the reason why it is made as a separate parameter in the global parameter here. In the same way, if you want to add a skirting light for all your base cabinets, can you see your base and mount lighting? Just place your cursor and click and make it as yes. It will automatically add the skirting lighting for all your flow supported cabinets. Can you see only your base and your tall cabinets are highlighted, right? Because those are all the only flow supported cabinets. Just using a single toggle, you'll be able to add it. Same thing for your wall undermount lighting too. So if you want to add a wall undermount lighting, just click it here. It will precisely add the wall undermount lighting for all your wall cabinets. Remember, it will only add for the cabinets which has a bottom panel. Generally, your GDPT cabinet and your RO cabinets for your wall doesn't come with a bottom panel, right? So in those cases, it won't add a strip lighting for those cabinets. So this is what your global parameter here is. Using this, you'll be able to change the parameters commonly for all the kitchen cabinets which are present in your project. So this is what the parameters for your kitchen cabinets are. So with this, your section 4 of the Day 2 Foundation course is completed.